Today we're going to go ahead and talk about how to determine when we have a proportional relationship from a graph. Two things should always be occurring on a graph when you have a proportional relationship. One, you should have a nice constant straight line occurring, okay? It should be a nice linear line showing that it's going at a constant rate. The other thing that should be happening is that it should be passing through the origin at 0, 0. Now, we don't want to go ahead and just say, okay, by looking at this is a proportional relationship. We actually want to go ahead and get a couple of test points and see if we have a proportional relationship occurring. We could use the formula K equals Y divided by X. I'm going to go ahead and grab a test point towards the bottom of the graph and a test point at the top of the graph, and I can see it's in a straight line, and if these two values give me the same constant, we know that we have a proportional relationship. My first point I'm going to use is the X value 1 and the Y value of 15. I'm going to go ahead and plug it into my constant of proportionality equation. 15 divided by 1, that gives me 15. Okay, so as long as my other test point also gives me 15, we know we have a proportional relationship. My next point I'm going to use is the X value 10 and the Y value 150. So again, I'm going to use my constant of proportionality equation. 150 for my Y, 10 for my X, 150 divided by 10 gives me 15. I can see that we have a constant ratio occurring throughout the entire line, so therefore we have a proportional relationship. Now here we have another graph, and we want to determine if this particular graph is a proportional relationship or not. Looking at it, it does definitely go in some almost form of a straight line, but it doesn't pass through the origin. So that's kind of a heads up for us that this is probably not a proportional relationship, but we want to go ahead and use a couple test points to also determine if it's a proportional relationship or not. So I went ahead and highlighted two test points that we're going to use for our constant of proportionality equation. So we're going to use K equals Y divided by X. And I'm going to go ahead and use this test point first. This X value is 2, this Y value is 25. I'm going to go ahead and plug that in. 25 divided by 2. I'm going to go ahead and divide that, and that gives me 12.5. Okay, so as long as we get 12.5 again for our other test point, we actually do have a proportional relationship. However, if we don't, then we can conclude that this is not a proportional relationship. So K equals Y divided by X. My X value I'm going to use is 5. My Y value I'm going to use is 45. 45 divided by 5 gives us 9. Okay, so we have a ratio here of 25 to 2, 45 to 5. They both, when divided, give us two different values. Having these two different values, we can determine that this is definitely not a proportional relationship.